And hello to all of you. It's 4 o'clock, and in fact, it appears that I, because I'm so poor at managing myself, put up two posters, one that said that the show was at 5 and one that said that it was at 4. I usually go about an hour, but to accommodate for the fact that there may be people who don't know what time the show is, I'm just going to use these 2 hours as time to practice and relax and just kind of do things to keep myself busy. If you show up at 5, there'll still be plenty of tunes left in this show. And if you show up sometime now, sometime in the near future, there'll be plenty of tunes, because that was my mistake. I need a manager. I sent out an email saying 5, and I posted many other posts saying 4. It's 4, so I'm started. And I have a set prepared. If you've dropped in to visit, and I see I do have a concurrent visitor right now, please say hi over in the chat section if you can. And if you can't get over to the chat section, well, I'll just kind of know you're there. And I love you. Thank you for being here. Just going to kind of get warmed up with some covers, what they call covers. Now I am just a poor boy, my story's seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear, and he disregards the rest. Lie, lie. When I left my home and family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of the railroad station, running scared, laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. Lie, 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 lie. Seeking only workmen's wages, I go looking for a job. I get no offers, just to come on from the whores on 7th Avenue. I do declare there were times when I was so lonesome I sought some comfort there. Lie, lie. Well, I'm laying out my winter clothes, I'm wishing I was home, going home, where the New York City winters are and bleeding me, leading me, going home. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries a reminder of every blow that laid him low and cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, I am leaving. The fighter still remains. Lie, 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 lie. La 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 la. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries a reminder of every blow that laid him low and cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, I am leaving. The fighter still remains. Lie, 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 La 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 la. Hello, invisible concurrent viewer, whoever you are. My show today is kind of just free form, and I don't have a theme exactly. It's called Resting Between Battles, which is, I'm pretty sure, how many of us feel right now. And I offer you, my music and the music of musicians that I love and adore. And I need a manager. I made a mistake. I posted the time for this at 4 o'clock on some posts and 5 on others. So what I'm going to do, simply because I love to play music, is I'm going to play all the way through 4 to 5. And if people show up at 5 o'clock, there'll be plenty of tunes left for them. And if you are here and you have a chance and you can get over to the chat, just say hi so I'll know you're here. And if you're visiting my YouTube channel for the first time, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, because that helps me to monetize the situation. And if you're a familiar face that I've seen here many times before, I'm sure you have already monetized the situation, and thank you so much for that. In the event of something happening to me, there is something I would like you all to see. It's just a photograph of someone that I knew. Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear a sound. Maybe someone is digging underground. Or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed might be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear sound. Maybe someone is digging underground. Or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed must be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. There you go, 2 covers to get my voice warmed up. That was, of course, The Boxer by Paul Simon and New York Mining Disaster from the very first Bee Gees album. It's tough times. A little humor always helps an awful lot. By His Majesty's decree, the people are invited to a celebration on the palace lawn. If you come just after 3, the food and drink will be provided. If you don't go, you'll wish that you had gone. For the princess is engaged to a 6-day tandem racer and a faster man on wheels there's never been. The wedding date is reckoned at July the 22nd. When he arrives, the celebration will begin. Now the king was very glad that his daughter finally had a husband trapped to occupy her days. Oh, she rarely did a thing but to sit and weep and sing and to wander through the palace garden maze. and the tandem racer's name was Baron Basil Werner, possessor of a world-famed racing cup. He spins his silver pedals and he polishes his medals, and you couldn't count the brides that he stood up. On July the 21st, the royal wedding was rehearsed, and everyone except the groom was there. They tried hard not to worry, they were sure that he would hurry and arrive with lots of time to spare. But from Luxembourg the tandem racer sent a cablegram. He had raced against the clock and he had lost, and his wheels spin round and they make a whirring sound, and you couldn't count the countries that he'd crossed. Now they held the wedding anyway, though it started in to rain, and the princess emptied water from her shoe. It rained all day and the baron never came, and the people all found better things to do. That's the 6-Day Bicycle Racer, the first good song I ever wrote when I was 16 years old. What occurs in my songs an awful lot is rain. I've noticed that over the years. I've written hundreds of songs. About every 10th song has got a reference to rain. We'll see how many of those I can cram into this show. This is an original tune that I wrote just a couple of years ago, dedicated to my beautiful wife. A gust of wind has come to call that turns a summer's day to fall, sends hats and papers tumbling down the lane. The pigeons that parade the square all leap as one into the air, taking shelter in the eaves against the rain. The songbirds quit their flight and hush their song, waiting for the rain, it won't be long. For reasons only feelings can explain, you can always tell when it's about to rain. The children have all run inside, the lovers in the park decide they won't be bothered by a drop or two. Slowly strolling, lost in love, they take no heed of clouds above. It's just a little rain, don't be blue. Just a little rain, you know it's true, won't last forever, darling, don't be blue. For reasons only feelings can explain, you can always tell when it's about to rain. And I may not know all the reasons why, but I can always tell when you're about to cry. I see you at the window now, and I can feel you wonder how the wind has blown so many things away. And if it helps to ease the pain, we'll go out walking in the rain, remembering another sweeter day. When we were young and love was new, it's just a little rain, don't be blue. Blue is just a feeling, let it come and let it go. I know it hurts a little, darling, let it go. Why is just a question with no answer, maybe so. Don't let it bother, darling. A love song to my wife. I don't know who this person is that's listening to me right now, but thank you for being here right now. I did post Confusing Times, and if I play for an hour to just you, then it's from me to you, and thank you for sticking around. I'm doing mostly original songs, but I'll throw some tunes into the mix. If you are here and you have a request and it's a song you think I know how to do, just say hi over in the chat stream there. This next tune is an example of the variety that I strive for in my songwriting. I have a theory as a songwriter. It says never repeat yourself unless it's an improvement. This tune is called The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl, and it's about cultural and musical diversity. Well, I've just come down to tell you about some music that I've heard. It's the band that plays on weekends down at Eddie's Crossroads Bar. They live out behind the diner in a bus that's up on blocks. If they ever get it rolling, I believe that they'll go far. And their leader's Alexander with his double-neck guitar, who comes from Spain by way of San Francisco. And his girlfriend is Elena from the hills of Bogota. When he met her, she was dancing in a disco. And the name of the band is The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl. Oh, their drummer is Matsui, he's a Japanese Hawaiian. He grew up playing country blues in Memphis, Tennessee. He drops his one right on the bar and then he kicks the 2 and 4. And sometimes you can find him with a banjo on his knee. And there's Jazzy Jan from Amsterdam, who fills in all the leads on the saxophone, sitar, and balalaika. And Brooklyn Bob's the sound man, he's the master of the mix. He could put a shine on 1956 Formica. Now these are the pieces that make up their sound and the people that make up their world. The name of the band is The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl. Eddie tries to manage them, but he doesn't have a clue about the market niche where he was. When the business people ask him about the bag they occupy, he doesn't have a notion what to tell them. There's a taste of gypsies, Zydeco, and a hint of western swing, some polka, blues, and psychedelic soul. Throw in some mariachi and a lick of folky funk, and your mama and your papa's a rock and roll. It's a crazy quilt pattern, kaleidoscope, rainbow design on the flag they unfurl. The name of the band is The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl. They've got lyrics like the Beatles, they've got lyrics like the Dead, they've got lyrics like the Kingsmen where you're not sure what they said. Oh, but when they start to harmonize, all the angels shut their mouth. It's all about the unity of Northeast, West, and South. Now these are the people that make up their world, the people that make up their world. The name of the band is The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl. It's a crazy quilt pattern, kaleidoscope, rainbow design on the flag they unfurl. And the name of the band is The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl. That's The Sad Spanish Man and the Beautiful Indian Girl, which was on an album of mine called The Big White Album, which was released in the year 2000, which seems like many, many centuries ago. In fact, last week feels like a century ago. And I hope you're all bearing up to the crazy stuff that's going on. And if you are the person that's listening and you can't access the chat, just say hi. I love to know who's listening to me. And it's my fault if there's not many more people here, because some people think the show is at 5. I do a little bit of kind of folk music, I guess we call this folk music. This is a song by Peter Michael Smith. It's one of the most beautiful songs I know. It's called The Dutchman. The Dutchman's not the kind of man who keeps his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in. But that's a secret only Margaret knows. When Amsterdam is golden in the summer, Margaret brings him breakfast, she believes in him. He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snows. Mad as he can be, Margaret only sees that sometimes. Sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His coat and cap are stitched with love that Margaret sews in them. Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam. He follows tugboats down canals, waves to them when he thinks he knows the captain, till Margaret comes to take him home again, through unforgiving streets that trip him though she holds his arm. Sometimes he thinks that he's alone and calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. The winter whirls the windmills round. She winds his muffler tighter. They sit in the kitchen. Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew. He sees her for a moment, says her name. She makes the bed up singing some old love song, a song that Margaret learned when it was new. Sings a line or two, they hum together in the night. The Dutchman falls asleep and Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man. Dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman, one of the prettiest songs in the whole known universe. And so now I'm going to move on to some more original tunes. I still have my mysterious guest that cannot or will not identify themselves. I hope you're a sweet and friendly person surviving these times, doing the best you can. That's the best we can. The best we can do. So at 5 o'clock, I'm just going to repeat most of this set again because that's what these are the tunes I'm warming up. I'm doing some recording work and I'm trying to do the kinds of tunes that will be in the recording work. This is a tune called Moonlight Palomino. Rattlesnake waits in the shadow of a rock. Field mouse hides from the eyes of a hawk. Cactus stands like a statue of a man. Him and me and my horse named Dan on a dusty road. Indian watching from a switchback ridge. Ghost riders running up a cloudy bridge. Twilight stealing in a corner of the sky. Riding along thinking by and by I'll put down my load. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. There's a ghost town down where the creek ran dry. Buzzards circle in the hard blue sky. Dusty old bar, empty bottles on the shelf. Piano in a corner that plays itself. It's a spooky sound. I hitched my horse to an old fence rail. Fetched up water in a leaky pail. Gonna get out of town before the daylight fails. I don't wanna stick around. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Jackrabbit runs from the scattering stones. Blackbird cries to rattle your bones. Cow skull laying by a watering hole. Don't drink there, you're gonna lose your soul in the burning sun. I left my home and I can't go back. Wildflower growing in a wagon wheel track. Dry wind coming down from the hills. Looking for a place a waterfall spills when the day is done. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. That I can ride. That's the Moonlight Palomino, my secret listener. And that's an original song which is based on a portrayal of a character in a book that I wrote, Dead Man's Coat, A Secret Diary, the story of my grandfather in a very interesting tale, which you can find at Amazon Books for a reasonable price. Very cheap if you get the ebook, but I recommend the paperback because that way you can read it in the comfort of not having an electronic thing in your face. Said the man who was an electronic thing in your face right now. Well, there you go. Call me a hypocrite if you will. I am Bert Lee. I am a songwriter. I've been doing this since the 60s. People tell me that I look younger than I am, and I am pretty much a geezer. I'm 72 and very proud of it. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've carried my voice with me all the way up to the age of 72, and that I keep my guitar chops just as good as you hear them. And if you enjoy what it is that I do, and you want to help me keep it going, your generous contributions down there to that stuff is appreciated. If you've already done it, don't even worry about it. And if you've already done it, and you want to do something more for me, buy one of my books at Amazon, Bert Lee, Dead Man's Coat, Spindrift Factor, and coming up soon, The White Gallery. Or just tell your friends that you heard this really good songwriter. Tell them he's good. They'll never believe you because they've never heard of me, but I think you'll agree if they get a few seconds of what I do, they'll think, how come that guy's not famous? A question I've been asking myself for many, many years. Let's see, what to do. Here's a love song. Morning comes to touch the sky and to wake the sleeping world, to hang the dew upon the blades of grass like strings of pearls. I rise up from my sleep to find you laying by my side, clinging to your last of dreams and breathing like the tide. I won't wake you, I'll just wait and hold you in my eyes, peaceful as a ship of clouds that sails the crystal skies. I'll go and put the kettle on just to make our morning brew. If you were the first to rise, I know that's what you'd do. If there's ever been a sweeter day, I swear I don't know when, since you came into my life, it's all been new again. All those years I spent alone, just watching time slip by, filling up with emptiness, taking love to be alive, filling pages up with words just to make my broken song, never knowing you were somewhere waiting all along. Now there's never been a sweeter day, my lover and my friend, since you chose to take this road, it's all been true again. Play it, fingers. Morning comes to touch the hills and to wake the sleeping rose, throwing diamonds on the river so it flashes as it flows. This world is lovely, it can't be denied, you know that's true. Twice as lovely with two pairs of eyes to see it through. If there's ever been a sweeter day, I swear I don't know when, since you came into my life, it's all been new again. A love song. Apparently someone else is lurking in the background there. Hi, if you're visiting me and listening to my songs and you can get to the chat stream, say hi just so I know who's listening in. I'm going to be playing music until about 6 o'clock because foolish me needs a manager. I posted 2 times, 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock for this live stream. So those of you who are here early are getting the first hour of a 2-hour set. And I'm the kind of guy that can do a 2-hour set. So if you're like my music, I'm a songwriter, so I understand you don't always know what you're listening to when you listen to a songwriter, but I invite you to really listen because I think the songs are good. And from time to time, I'll throw in some covers of one sort or another. I might as well do that right now just to be on the nicer side for you. And also give me 1 second. I want to turn on some lights here because it being winter. There, now you can see me in all of my gory. All of my gory. Edward Gorey. This is the House of Love. My wife and I, Josephine, live in this place. It's in the far end of Brooklyn, almost all the way up to Coney Island. We don't publish addresses on YouTube because these days, if you know what I mean. Another tune for you here. This is often mistaken for being an Arlo Guthrie song. The fact of the matter is, Arlo did not write it. It was written by Steve Goodman, who is a hero of mine. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, early morning rail. 15 cars, 15 restless riders, 3 conductors and 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out from Kankakee, moves along the houses, farms, and fields, passing trains that have no names and freight yards full of old black men, and graveyards full of rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles before the day is done, playing card games with the old man in the club car. A penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle. You can hear the steel rail rumble against the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpet made of steam. Mothers with their babes asleep are rocking to the gentle beat, and the cut of their dreams is all they eat. Good morning, America, how are you? don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles before the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans, changing trains in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home and we'll be there by morning, through the Mississippi darkness rolling down to sea. And all the towns and people seem to fade into a dark dream. You know the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again, and the passengers will please refrain. This train's got to disappear in railroad blues. Good morning, America, how are you? Oh, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles, gone 500 miles. Gone 500 miles, for the day is done. Hi, baby.
Hey.
You know, I posted 2 times, so I have to play for 2 hours straight.
What?
I posted 4 o'clock in one place and 5 in another. I've had 1 listener for the last hour, so I'll just repeat the set. I'm singing and playing okay, so everything is good. So I'm on, I'm on, and I'm on. That's my wonderful wife, Josephine. There she is. That's the love of my life right there. That's the reason. That's the reason for all of this madness. And I guess I have no audience at the moment, so if you are listening in and I just somehow can't see you in my lineup here, say hi so I'll know you're here. I had a listener for 45 minutes and that was very nice, but maybe they were on the cell phone and they can't get the chat stream. I don't know how that works. So I'm just going to do some tunes I wasn't going to do during my set and start my set at 5 o'clock. If you're here early or you're replaying this whole thing, you're getting an extra long, chock full of music live stream, which I need because it makes me feel good, and you might need because it might make you feel good, and here it is. In this world of trouble, child, everyone has grown up wild, and sometimes I think there's nothing can save us. We've turned our backs on one another, turned away from earth, our mother, and squandered all the riches that she gave us. In every town and village, deep into the night, oh, in their beds the restless sleepers are turning. Down along the waterways and on the city walls, nightmen work to keep the watchfires burning. Little darling, don't you have no fear, don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here, sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light that the morning brings, as sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling. In this world of hate and war, it's hard to know just who you are, or if there's something greater you belong to. Is there someone who will take your hand try to help you to understand, or only someone you can sing your broken song to. Sailors on the ocean praying for the sight of land, they look out to find the lighthouse angels sweeping. Babies in the cradle on the wings of lullaby. Sweet sister, hold her safely in your keeping. Little darling, don't you have no fear. Don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here, sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light the morning brings, as sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon. That's Soon Your Tears Be Over, nearing the end of my first hour, which will be published as a 2-hour long thingamabob. I've had one visitor during the course of this because I was foolish and I need a better manager, because I'm my own manager, and that's a mistake. I guess it's kind of like being self-educated, though I am that as well, and that's probably my problem right up front. That is my problem. Let's do some more traditional music while I'm killing time for maybe the actual show to start. There's no one listening right now, Josephine, so, feel free to make a little bit of noise.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. I think there's no one listening. It's hard to tell. If you hear a little ruckus in the background, that's my wife. The actual show was supposed to start at 5, and I posted 4 o'clock, so I had one listener. I entertained them for a good 45 minutes. They never identified themselves. Maybe it was Big Brother checking to see if my songs were radical. Something. Who knows? Mississippi John Hurt. Candyman, he's been and gone. Candyman, he's been and gone. Candyman, he's been and gone. And I would do anything in this God Almighty world to bring my Candyman home. Little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light. Oh, won't you stop at the red and go at the green? Don't you mess with Mr. In Between. Run, fetch your pitcher, get your baby some beer, and run, fetch your pitcher, get your baby some beer. Run, fetch your pitcher, get your baby some beer. I would do anything in this God Almighty world to bring my Candyman home. Candyman, oh, salty dog. Candyman, he's a salty dog. Candyman, he's a salty dog. Oh, won't you be my Candyman and I'll be your salty dog. Run, fetch a pitcher, get your baby some beer, and run, fetch a pitcher, get your baby some beer, and run, fetch a pitcher, get your baby some beer. I'll do anything in this God Almighty world to bring my candy man home. Candy man, he's been and gone. Candy man, he's been and gone. Candy man, been and gone. Oh, I would do anything in this God Almighty world to bring my candy man home. I would do anything in this God Almighty world to bring my candy man home. That's a song for you there. I got 8 minutes until I actually start my show. Which I will fill with songs that I'm not going to do as a repeat. Don't know what to do. Not prepared for playing for 2 hours straight, but here it is. Like me, those Donovan songs. In the chilly hours and minutes of uncertainty, I long to be in the warm hold of your loving mind, to feel you all around me and to take your hand along the sand. Oh, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When rain has hung the leaves with tears, I want you near to kill my fears and help me to leave all my blues behind. For standing in your arms is where I want to be and long to be. Oh, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown pales the sky, I want to bide a while behind your smile, and everywhere I'd look your eyes I'd find. For me to love you now would be the sweetest thing. It would make me sing. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown pales the sky, I want to bide a while behind your smile, and everywhere I'd look your eyes I'd find. For standing in your arms is where I want to be and long to be. Oh, but I may as well try and catch the wind. So I have just 4 minutes until my show begins, and at that point I'm going to kind of do a repeat of what I did before. Some people will be actually tuning in at 5 o'clock, and I will entertain them for another hour. This has been a fun hour. I've gotten to practice. I had one listener, somebody who fell for the idea that it was going on at 4, which was my own mistake. And I'll be back. I'm going to do one more tune for you now. One more tune for you now. After all this time, do I have to tell you I'm not guilty of the crimes you accuse me of? What do I have to do to win back your love? If I had to do it all again, would I even be just one whit wiser? Oh, probably not. Have to live with what you've got. My hands are empty now, and still I cannot see just how we'll ever make amends. Is this the way our story ends? Lovers once, now barely friends. If you ask me why, I guess I'd have to try some awkward alibi you disabuse me of. What do I have to do to win back your love? Why did I have to go and put myself above you? Darling, what do I have to do to win back your love? Oh, why did I have to go and put myself above you, darling? That concludes the first hour of my live stream. I'll be turning on my Get Ready and seeing if I drew anybody in for the 5 o'clock performance. If you are visiting me, say hi. And here comes my little interlude. Okay, honey, I'm starting the 5 o'clock show now. Good afternoon, whoever is watching me. If you're tuning in to my show, please know that due to the idiocy that lives inside of this cabbage up here, I announced to some people that my show is at 4 and some people at 5. So I expect, Sam, you got the 5 o'clock announcement. So I just did an hour of music, and I guess it was kind of a warm-up, and it's nice to see whoever is visiting. Yeah, there you go. Keep your eye on the prize. I'll be doing the prize, in fact. Yeah. So anyway, like I say, I just sang for an hour, basically for one person for that entire hour. They never announced themselves, so I don't know who got the benefit of that. But it was nice. I felt good singing and playing, and I always like to entertain my friends. Whoever shows up is welcome here. It's been a crazy fucking week, as we all know. And so, a little bit of music and a good cheer and friendship between us all is what we need. So, I am just a poor boy, my story's seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear, and he disregards the rest. Lie, lie, lie. When I left my home and family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of the railroad station, running scared, laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Well, I'm laying out my winter clothes and I'm wishing I was home, going home, where the New York City winters aren't bleeding me, going home. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries a reminder of every blow that laid him low and cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Lie, lie, lie. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade. He carries a reminder of every blow that laid him low and cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Okay, there you go. Warming up here. In the event of something happening to me, there is something I would like you all to see. It's just a photograph of someone that I knew. Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear a sound, Maybe someone is digging underground, or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed must be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear a sound. Maybe someone is digging underground, or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed must be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. The New York mining disaster, based on a true story. It may be a quiet day here in Dry Gulch, but I'm having fun singing. I hope you like the sound. I've found a much nicer setting for my voice, and I'm hoping it really is coming across to you as nicely as it sounds in my headphones. And I'm Bert Lee, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, thank you for being here. I have 3 consecutive viewers. If you're visiting, say hello. I see Sam and I see Josephine. Anyone who comes in is welcome to chat, say hello. And if there's a song that you know I do and you'd like me to hear me sing it, I'm all about that. So that's that. It's been a crazy fucking week. I said the word, week. And it seems like a year, and so a little humor might serve. By His Majesty's decree, the people are invited to a celebration on the palace lawn. If you come just after 3, the food and drink will be provided. If you don't go, you will wish that you had gone. For the princess is engaged to a 6-day tandem racer, and a faster man on wheels there's never been. The wedding date is reckoned at July the 22nd. When he arrives, the celebration will begin. Now the king was very glad that his daughter finally had a husband trapped to occupy her days. She rarely did a thing but to sit and weep and sing, and to wander through the palace garden maze. And the tandem racer's name was Baron Basil Werner, possessor of a world-famous racing cup. And he spins his silver pedals and he polishes his medals, and you couldn't count the brides that he's hung up. On July the 21st, the royal wedding was rehearsed, and everyone except the groom was there. They tried hard not to worry. They were sure that he would hurry and arrive with lots of time to spare. But from Luxembourg the tandem racer sent a cablegram. He'd raced against the clock and he had lost, and his wheels spin round and they make a whirring sound, and you couldn't count the countries that he crossed. Now let's see if I can get that change in this verse that I've been missing constantly through the rest of this song. Well, they held the wedding anyway, though it started in to rain, and the princess emptied water from her shoe. It rained all day and the baron never came, and the people all found better things to do. Never got the change. Josephine, I'd be happy to do that song if you would do me the favor of digging up the lyrics in my lyric book, because I can never get all the way through that without looking at the lyrics. And if you come in, I'll show you where that is, and you can dig it up if you're interested in hearing that tune. I'm happy to do it for you. While we're on the subject of my lovely wife Josephine, here's a love song dedicated, as all of my love songs are, to Josephine. The 2-day insurrectionist. I hope that is the case, my darling. I hope. Anyway, this is a love song. It's another song that mentions rain. I've been accused of mentioning rain with some incredible frequency. Yeah. Creedence Clearwater did every other song was about rain, so that's the way that goes. A gust of wind has come to call, that turns a summer's day to fall, sends hats and papers tumbling down the lane. The pigeons that parade the square all leap as one into the air, taking shelter in the eaves against the rain. The songbirds quit their flight and hush their song, waiting for the rain. It won't be long, for reasons only feelings can explain. Can always tell when it's about to rain. The children have all run inside, the lovers in the park decide they won't be bothered by a drop or two. Slowly strolling lost in love, they take no heed of clouds above. It's just a little rain, don't be blue. Just a little rain, you know it's true. Won't last forever, darling, don't be blue. For reasons only feelings can explain, you can always tell when it's about to rain. And I may not know all the reasons why, but I can always tell when you're about to cry. I see you at the window now, and I can feel you wonder how the wind has blown so many things away. And if it helps to ease the pain, we'll go out walking in the rain, remembering another sweeter day. When we were young and love was new, it's just a little rain, don't be blue. Blue is just a feeling, let it come and let it go. I know it hurts a little, darling, let it go. Why is just a question with no answer, maybe so. Don't let it bother, darling. And my numbers reveal to me that I have some more listeners who haven't announced themselves. If you go over to the chat and say hi, I'd love to know who I'm playing for. It guides me in my choice of material. And I put the capo on the second fret. Those of you that are just showing up, what's amusing about today, and it would be lost on you because you just showed up and you were right on time, according to some reports. Hi, Harvey. Like I was saying, you're just on time for some reports. I need a better manager because I am my own manager, and that means I fucked up. And I posted 2 times, 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So from 4 to 5, I played for one person, and it was great. I wish I know who that person was, which is why it's nice when people, just say hello. Rattlesnake waits in the shadow of a rock. Field mouse hides from the eyes of a hawk. Cactus stands like a statue of a man. Him and me and my horse named Dan on a dusty road. Indian watching from a switchback ridge. Ghost riders running up a cloudy bridge. Twilight stealing in a corner of the sky. Riding along, thinking by and by I'll put down my load. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. There's a ghost town down where the creek ran dry. Buzzards circle in the hard blue sky. Dusty old bar, empty bottles on the shelf. Piano in a corner that plays itself. It's a spooky sound. I hitched my horse to an old fence rail. Fetched up water in a leaky pail. I'm gonna get out of town before the daylight fails, and I don't wanna stick around. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Jackrabbit runs from the scattering stones. Blackbird cries to rattle your bones. Cow skull laying by a watering hole. Don't drink there, you're gonna lose your soul in the burning sun. I left my home and I can't go back. Wildflower growing in a wagon wheel track. Dry wind coming down from the hills, looking for a place a waterfall spills when the day is done. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Moonlight Palomino. People like that song. I'm glad people like that song. Here's an old song of mine that I dug up recently. Hadn't played it in years and years and years and years. One day I played it here in the living room, and my wife said, "I never heard you sing like that before." And I added it to my repertoire and rewrote some of the verses and got a really nice recording with my old compadre, Dan Simpson. And I see how I have more visitors than I see in the chat stream. So if you're visiting, feel free to just say hi in the chat stream. And if you know my music, as much as I often can, I will try to meet every single request. I sometimes am way out of practice on a song, and I'd rather sing it well and put it off till a later time. And if you make a request that's like that, you will get it eventually along the line. Anyway. Neither here nor there. So this song is called, was originally called Honky Tonk Waltz. I've decided to call it Blackbird and the Scarecrow, because that's what it's about. Blackbird sitting on a fence post, laughing like he knows some kind of joke. to see what's so funny. My whole world just went up in smoke. Won't you let me in on the joke? Scarecrow dancing in a cornfield, dancing while the wind blows him around. Sometimes I feel like that scarecrow, watching over my dry patch of ground, while the wind just blows me around. There's a strange kind of music in the branches of the trees, like a song on a broken guitar. And those crows on a fence don't make any more sense than some crazy fools in a bar who sing a broke down honky-tonk waltz. Blackbird flies over to the scarecrow. It doesn't scare him a bit. It just sits on his shoulder to mock him, and then laughs at his own senseless wit. That scarecrow doesn't scare him a bit. Blackbirds fly away from my shoulder, blues fly away from my heart. I've had this shadow upon me, oh darling, since we've been apart. Oh, blues fly away from my heart. There's a strange melody that hangs in the breeze, like a calliope that's gone out of tune. And those crows sing a song that's all busted and wrong by the cold light of the old crooked moon. They sing a broke down honky-tonk waltz, a broke down honky-tonk waltz, a broke down honky-tonk waltz. That's the honky-tonk waltz, and that's Lawrence Fish visiting me. Nice to see you, Lawrence. Nice to see you. While I'm in this configuration of having the capo on the second fret, that's how I organize my sets now. I'm going to do a song about coming home to New York after living down in Florida. I've lived in Key West. I've lived in Florida 3 times in my life. I lived in Key West as what we laughingly call an adult twice, and the last time was from around 2005 till just far too long. I spent about 5 years there trying to see if I could settle down there so I could support my family, because I wasn't getting any work in New York. And tried to get my wife to come down there. She came down and stayed long enough to decide that Key West was not her cup of tea. And I understand that at this point. I'm glad I don't live there right now, because that's part of the problem zone. I think the problem zone is kind of any place outside of our city at this moment. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, this song is about coming home. Riding on the northbound train, leave the South behind, rolling through the blue-gray dawn, and I feel the past unwind. Hills and valleys, streets and alleys, little towns all in a row. Some people I may never meet, in places I may never go. Sometimes feel just like a gambler, watch my fortunes break, or just like some weary rambler, wondering which fork to take. I got my backpack and my guitar, pocket change to pay my way. I bought myself a one-way fare. I'm going home, and there I'll stay. Living up to what I said I'd do. Oh, girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Play some changes while I'm rolling, looking for the words to sing. Take my rhythm from the train tracks, and I wonder what the muse will bring. Fellow travelers in this night car, asking me what songs I play. They sometimes strike a harmony as we pass, rattling miles away. Living up to what I said I'd do. Oh, girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Giving up the games I tried to play, coming home to you, and there I'll stay. Riding on the northbound train, leave the South behind. Rolling through the blue-gray dawn, and I feel the past unwind. Ooh, 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 ooh. This lick is supposed to sound like a train. Coming to a stop. That's the northbound train. Oh, Lordy. Okay, well, we all know who the star of this week is, other than me. So this is a song I don't often do, but I just figure if there was ever an appropriate time to do it, I hope we get through the next 7 days without more of that stuff, but I have a feeling there's more of that stuff waiting for us. I fear the coming of the frost. The mountains burn, the world is lost. I hear the drumming of the rain, the bloody corpse, the river stain. A beggar comes to haunt my door, and turned away she speaks of war with words that summon from the grave the ghosts of those I cannot save. Let every joy that's left be had, the drunken dance, the king is mad. Let every boy and girl be glad, the bells cry out, the king is mad. The king demands a grand parade, waving from his motorcade to those that come to cheer and bow. He'll save them, only he knows how. With his atomic attaché, with gilded hair and feet of clay, he speaks of wars, of words and walls, and cuts a string of paper dolls. Let every song that's known be sung, and praise ring out on every tongue. Let every boy and girl be glad, the trumpets sound, the king is mine. Some say he came, a gift from God, but others here might find it odd that any god on any whim might elevate the likes of him. For he is neither Lord nor saint, and the gold upon his throne is paint, and in the end his lone reward is the mirror of his own regard. Let everything that's true be false, let cripples dance a broken waltz, let every boy and girl be glad the herald weeps. The king is mad. The sky is empty now of birds. The poets have run out of words, no longer bound by false accords. The soldiers fall upon their swords. His counselors have been dismissed. Their names are stricken from the list. The king is left to rule alone, a jester on a wooden throne. Let every joy that's left be had, the drunken dance, the king is mad. Let every song that's known be sung, and praise ring out on every tongue. Let everything that's false be true, and every debt that's left come due. Let every boy and girl be glad, the bells cry out, the king is mad. The King is Mad. And that song was based upon a play by Michel de Gelderode called Escurial, but seems to have odd resonances for our times. I did notice that at the peak of that song, I got 2 new visitors, number 7 and 8, and during the course of the song, 7 and 8 disappeared. So I guess some people don't want to hear that kind of thing, and I can understand. The guy gets enough time, so let's move right along to something more amusing, and I hope not less socially significant, a tune of mine that I wrote about 2 years ago, which began as a musing about my grandfather, whose life story is told right here in Dead Man's Coat, A Secret Diary by Bert Lee. That's down at the bottom of that thing there. And you can get that from Amazon. My grandfather lived a fascinating life. So this was the first time I tried to write a song about him. And the first verse sort of makes reference to the fact that he was involved in a famous stagecoach robbery during the course of the Civil War and stole 2 suitcases full of Confederate money. And so I started out that way, but by the time I got to the second verse, it turned into an acerbic commentary on the socioeconomic zeitgeist. Thank you so much. Hot licks. My grandpa was a grifter, a gambler and a heel. He snuck around from town to town and dealt a dirty deal. He went out in the wild world to steal what he could steal. And you know he stole a fortune, but the money wasn't real. No, the money wasn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money wasn't real. He set out as a bandit, he came back empty-handed. He should have been a rich man, but the money wasn't real. The Pharaoh was a miser, his story has been told. He had 10,000 workers build a pyramid to hold all his statues and his trappings, his caskets and his gold. You know he wanted to have everything, but all he got was old, 'cause none of it was real. Funny how it is, you know now, none of it was real. His monument's so grand just got covered up by sand. He's just another mummy man, 'cause none of it was real. A poor man buys a loaf of bread, he shares it and it's gone. A rich man wrecks his portion, yet his wealth keeps rolling on. And the good things that you've said and done are nothing you can pawn. 'Cause when you're in the underclass, you're always overdrawn, 'cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can follow all the rules made by idiots for fools, and you think you'll get your just reward, but you won't. You won't pick up a penny, oh, but you might spare a dime. A dollar buys a pretty meager way to waste your time. A C-note gets you groceries, and a grand might buy a thrill. You might rake in a shitload and still not get your fill. I live in America, a country built on greed, and I suppose that's not a bad thing if you just take what you need. But it seems everyone's afflicted by a hungry to exceed. Why should one man have a billion when there's a million mouths to feed? 'Cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can burn it, you can earn it, but in the end you'll learn that it all amounts to nothing. Now I had me a young buddy who was into the higher tech. He made a lot of money, but not the way you might expect. He made it all in bitcoins, then it bit him in the ass, and now he lives inside a cardboard house in a field of broken glass. Oh, 'cause none of it was real. Funny how it is, you know now none of it was real. You can follow all the rules made by idiots for fools, and you think you'll get your just reward. The money isn't real. The money isn't real. The money isn't. And the money isn't real. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I'm glad you enjoyed that. We'll be releasing the full volume of my collected short stories, The White Gallery, very shortly. And those of you that have already read some of the advanced stories and would like a paperback copy, we'll find it at Amazon soon enough. And those of you who've never read my books and don't want to sit down and read a whole novel, you might find that reading the short stories will let you in on how serious I am as a writer, because I'm pretty serious. pretty serious there. Serious. All righty, this is a song by Nilsson. I've been doing it recently because, it's just such a great song. I like songs that are kind of whimsical and maybe a little bit hard to understand what they're about. So what some famous poet said, what is too silly to be said can always be sung. She sang hymns out of tune, carried a yellow balloon, traded her love for a Spanish doubloon, and sang to the people who are. She lived in a sorcerer's room. She pounded the table and brandished a broom, and 10,000 when she touched the moon, and sang to the people who are. I have a clock on my wall, it keeps time, and that isn't all. It tells me how long she's been gone, away to the people who are. She lived in a sorcerer's room. She pounded the table and brandished the broom. She turned 10,000 when she touched the moon, and sang to the people who are. Rain came and scattered away the old antique caretaker's children that day. Later that evening she passed away, away to the people people who are. There you go. And yeah, well, I started today at 4 o'clock, so I've now played for nearly an hour and 45 minutes. I will continue to play as long as I have some people here. And it's nice to see you. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for visiting. If you enjoy what I do, all of you who are concurrently, as they say, listening to me, are familiar faces, and your generosity is always appreciated. But, because you're my concurrent listeners, what you can do with this most important for me, and I know it's a hard thing to do because people are stubborn. Try to get somebody else to come and listen to my show. Just tell them you know somebody that's really good, and if they give me 5 minutes, I'll convince them. I will truly convince them of that. This is an original song. The days and weeks go slipping by. All the things we put off pile up. All the things we choose to do some other day, they can wait for Thursday. I had some chores to run today, household shopping bills to pay, do the dishes, clear the shelves, misery best kept to ourselves on Thursday. Buy some toothpaste, soap and bread, all the ordinary life we've led. Make a list and get it done before it slips away, my son, it's Thursday. Then the clouds, they opened over me, and the crowd, it parted like the sea, sent me down an unfamiliar path. Seeing you, I simply had to laugh. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way on Thursday. There's too much to hold inside. All the thoughts we keep and build up. Secrets that we choose to face some other time. They come to mind on Thursday. I had some calls to make today, obligations, prayers to pray, clear the record, make amends, try to make it all make sense on Thursday. Expectations, hopes, and dreads, where the worries in our hearts have led. Take a risk and change your ways before your chances slip away, it's Thursday. Then the clouds, they opened over me, and the crowd, it parted like the sea, set me down an unfamiliar path. Seeing you, I simply had to laugh. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way on Thursday. Well, I'm on a roll. I've got folks listening to me. That's much appreciated. Whoever it was that just dropped in, don't hesitate to say hello in our chat stream. Meet my usual gang of accomplices here in doing music for all of you. I love doing this, and thank you for sticking around. And I'm not anywhere near tired, so I'm just going to do a bunch more songs, and that's what's going to happen. And let's do something. This is, you might call it a traditional song, but it's not really a traditional song. This song was actually a hit song in its time, which was in the 1870s. Up until about 1910 or 1920, this song was still being recorded, still being played, and that's because it was one of the most popular songs ever written, which is kind of kooky. My mom used to dance around. My mom, I love my mom so very much. My mom was a child of her time. She used to be a flapper. They would dance around with their hair short and tight little dresses. And it was during the time of Prohibition and also suffrages. My mom was a serious suffragette person, very headstrong, very independent, and like all people of her time, was a chain smoker. My mom would smoke 4 cigarette packs a day. Winston's was her choice. And she would always sing this song while she was doing housework, which was kind of wonderful to watch because she would go into a room and start vacuuming and sweeping and dusting and doing all that stuff. She'd light a cigarette for herself in that room. And she'd do that room, and then she realized she had another room to do, so she would roll into the next room and light another cigarette, so that by the time she'd finished, put half a pack of cigarettes in all the ashtrays in the house. And so that's dedicated to my mom. And if there is a heaven, she's there, and if there is, thank you for giving me an interesting life. An interesting life. And thank you all for giving me an interesting life, because I'm a lucky man. I've met so many nice people in my life. Oh, thank you so much, Robin Finns. Yeah, I'm glad you like my voice. I work hard on it. I'm one of those guys that kept his voice into his 70s, which is a rarity, and that's because I had really good voice training when I was younger. And I hope you like the songs I'm singing, my guitar playing. Well, my golden slippers have been laid away, and I don't expect to wear them till my wedding day. And my long-tailed coat that I love so well, I'm gonna wear it in the chariot in the morning. And the long white coat I bought last June, gonna put it away 'cause it fits too soon. And the old gray mare I used to drive, hitch her to the chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear when I walk on the golden street. Well, there's Brother Billy and his sister Sue gonna telegraph a message to my Uncle Backajuice about the sweet camp meeting we will have that day when we ride that chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear to walk on the golden street. Now it's goodbye, children, I've got to go where the rain don't fall and the wind don't blow. And your ulster coats, you should wear them when you ride that chariot in the morning. And your golden slippers should be neat and clean, and your age should be just sweet 16. Your kid white gloves, you should wear them when you ride that chariot in the morning. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear, 'cause they look so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers I'm gonna wear to walk on the golden street. Golden slippers I'm gonna wear to walk on the golden street. And that's them golden slippers, and I'm gonna slide the capo up 2 steps. That's how I organize my sets, so I don't have to move the capo too often. A request from Sam Bryan. And Sam, I've been kind of distracted for the last week, but I'm getting to your songs soon. I like to do songs written by friends of mine. And this particular song was written by Mr. Lenny Molotov, excellent guitar player, great band leader, wonderful songwriter, dear friend of mine. And I love this particular song. took your notes, love letters, and birthday cards. I built a little house, then the wind blew hard. Gee, but it's tough losing your best friend. Guess my honey's never coming back again. Glorious sunshine, glorious rain, glorious joy, glorious pain. Glorious old King's Road, come to an end, glorious new coronation. When I fell asleep as a little boy, I woke up still dreaming of my toys. When I woke up from you and me, round my neck was a golden key. Glorious evening, glorious morn, glorious peacetime after the war. Glorious old King's Road, come to an end, glorious new coronation. Well, I fell asleep in a room so small. When I woke up, it was a mighty hall. Through the colored glass, I felt the sun's warm rays. She leaned over and kissed my face. Glorious sweetness, once so sour, glorious meekness come into power. Glorious old King's Road, come to an end, glorious new coronation. Glorious old King's Road, come to an end, glorious new coronation. And that is Lenny Molotov's song, Glorious, Glorious. A glorious song. That's the title of the song. Now, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs left. If you have an appetite for it, I'll go and we'll have then turned in a more than 2-hour set. I started at 4 because I posted to a bunch of people that it was going to be at 4. I got one person, so I practiced for an hour to the one person. And I know why it does. Because it's a wonderful song, Sam. That's why it moves you to tears. And so here we go. Let me think about the order I want to put these in. We're everywhere. One back your love, time after time. Okay. This song goes out to Sam Bryan. I know he likes this song. Left my shoes in Dublin, and I borrowed a dead man's coat. I left the rest behind me, and I stowed on to a boat. I left the rest behind me to be swallowed up by time. If they ever come to find me, may they pardon me my crime. They say I killed my father, but I only stole his name. He was murdered by a bottle, but I'll gladly share the blame. Murdered by a bottle, only death has set him free. Now if I could only lose his ghost that's stowed away in me. His ghost is in my mirror, his ghost is in my mind. living underneath my skin, and it won't be left behind. I tried my best to kill it, but the damn thing never dies. It stands so hard above me with whiskey in its eyes. Here is my confession, for whatever it is worth. I'm haunted by my father, just like every man on earth. Haunted by my father, like every ordinary Jake. He stands so hard above me, like a storm about to break. Sailing to America just to find what might be found. I'll throw these memories overboard, and I'll pray that they stay drowned. I'll throw this baggage overboard to be swallowed by the sea. Now if I could only lose this ghost that's stowed away in me. I left my shoes in Dublin, I borrowed a dead man's coat. I left it all behind me, and I stowed onto a boat. I left it all behind me to be swallowed up by time. If they ever come and find me, may they pardon me my crime. That's The Dead Man's Coat, which refers to the first chapter of my novel, Dead Man's Coat, and the story of my grandfather. Sharon Wilson, how sweet to see you. And because you're here, I'm just going to keep on stretching it. I've done an enormously long set, and I'm so glad to see another friend show up. God bless you all. Thank you for giving me a sense of purpose, my regular people. And during the week, people come in and listen to this, so I know that everyone can't make it on time to these things. So I'm happy that I have this lovely, the shiningest peanut gallery that a person could ever expect. And I love you all so much for supporting me and making me feel like there's something worthwhile in what I do. And here's a song from my days in the Central Park Sheiks. There I stood on the street, a grown man at last, with the road at my feet. I turned my back to the past. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. My father, he told me I had best take some care, and he offered me money to help pay for my fare. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. It's a story of old. You've heard it before, I know it's been told. With the sun in my eyes, I went seeking the prize. I was 19. 18 or 19. It's hard to keep track. Those years were an odd kind of blur. This is a very recent song. Our old Italian neighborhood has turned Chinese, maybe for good. Water, water everywhere. The ghetto has been gentrified. The first folks have been pushed aside. Doesn't matter if it's fair. It's the same thing everywhere. The Indians who once lived here, they made their trade in hunting deer. Water, water everywhere. They made a bargain with the Dutch that really didn't leave them much, but the Dutchmen didn't care. Money, money everywhere. Now the hippies have all moved upstate and the hipsters came to take their place. Maybe the only difference is the hair. And the little shops you could afford to shop in, once they now are boarded. Building owners, they don't care. Money, money everywhere. But the water just goes where it will, you know it always flows downhill. Rivers running everywhere. And who are you and I to kid? It just does what it always did. Just goes where it's meant to be, flowing till it finds the sea. Water, water everywhere. Now the music clubs have all shut down and New York is a rich man's town. Doesn't matter if it's fair. And the only music that remains is while you're waiting for the trains, and you can tip them if you care. Oh, so much free music everywhere. Oh, the money just goes where it must. It's all about the boom or bust. Buddy, have you got a dime to spare? But who are you and I to kid? It settles for the lowest bid. The bottom line is where it goes. That's just the way the money flows. Doesn't matter if it's fair. Now in my new Chinese neighborhood, the people that I meet are good. It's the same thing everywhere. No matter where they come from, friend, they're only people in the end. It's not their fault they had to settle there. People, people, people everywhere. Water flowing to the sea, everywhere like you and me. Like water flowing to the sea, we're going where we're meant to be. Water, 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 water everywhere. And I have time for either a request from anyone to fatten it up, because I do have a latecomer and I love to make people happy. Here's another song that's fairly recent. A few of my songs that I've been doing recently will be included on an album that is coming up at Bandcamp. And at Bandcamp, You can find bertlee.bandcamp.com, and you'll see 2 albums, and sometimes there's a preview song up from the coming album. The previous albums were called Salt for Silver. I know people like that one. If you haven't heard it, you can listen to it at Bandcamp. You don't even have to buy it there. You can listen to it and download it. The nice thing about Bandcamp, unlike so many of these services where people are trying to become massively, humongously famous with millions of hits and they don't make any money, the nice thing about Bandcamp is that they actually pay me the lion's share of what I make when people download my songs. And it's a component of my income rather than just some dream of getting 10 billion listeners who make me $100. Which is kind of what the rest of it's all about. I'm too old to worry about that stuff. I just want to keep playing music for people that enjoy it. That's what I want to do. So anyway, this song is on my upcoming album, which will be called Swimming in Falling Water, which will be co-produced by the wonderful Dan Simpson, engineer extraordinaire, old friend of mine, and a great engineer. So it'll be the best engineered album I've had since 1991, when 2 of us, Dan and I, did another album called Living in the Stream. So it's funny, the titles are so similar, and that's just a total coincidence. Anyway. After all this time, do I have to tell you I'm not guilty of the crimes you accuse me of? What do I have to do to win back your love? If I had to do it all again, would I even be just one whit wiser? Probably not. You have to live with what you've got. My hands are empty now, and I'm really not too sure just how we'll ever make amends. Is this the way our story ends? Oh, lovers once now barely friends. If you ask me why, I guess I'd have to try some awkward alibi you disabuse me of. What do I have to do to win back your love? My eyes are open wide, still I cannot see inside your guarded space. If you won't turn to face me, if I had to do it all again, would I even be just one whit wiser? Oh, probably not. What do I have to do to win back your love? Why did I have to go myself above you? Darling, what do I have to do to win back your love? Oh, why did I have to go and put myself above you, darling? And that said, I give you one last live song that I'm going to put on my post-show recorded music, where I put up, how you can support me if you feel like it, and things you can do to help all the musicians don't have any work anymore, and we're not likely to ever have any again. The clubs are all shut down. They're not opening up for music. They're going to turn into sports bars because that's what the idiots like. And so most of us, if you're lucky, if you're like a classical musician, there may come a time in the future where you can get a gig. Jazz players will probably find some work, but most of us who do things really esoteric, like write songs, well, we can whistle for the rhino. But we're going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I love it. I'm good at it. Keeps me going. And so I'm going to do two songs from my late arrivals, and then I'll put on a tune for you as I put on my support page. Here's what my support page looks like. Oh, I didn't load my support page. What an idiot I am. I'll put up my book page. That'll be just fine. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to do two more songs for my late arrivals, Lorenz and Sharon. Love you all so much. So I'm going to do a couple of songs from the jazz side of my repertoire. To be precise, I'm going to do three, because I just feel like going on and on and on. And you will have seen Bert Lee play music for 2.5 hours, whoever was lurking in the background before. And all of you got 1.5 hours of it, and I love doing it for you. I'm a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? When I'm down, I go put on a record, even if I've heard that song too many times before. I play it one time more, it still makes me cry. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again, and all I do is watch the rain. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again, and all I do is watch the rain. And if I were a birdie, I'd fly above this rain cloud. Where the sun is shining, I'd be flying high. At least I'd try, oh, if I were a bird, but I ain't. If you ain't heard, I'm just a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? Started out my set with songs about rain. Got to go on with another one. That was from the Central Park Sheiks. Eastern Kings of Western Swing. It was the first swing song I ever wrote. I wrote this song toward the end of the Sheiks' tenure as a band. Unfortunately, the Sheiks never recorded this song, which is too bad. We might have actually had a hit with it. The bellhop, he don't jump to do the chores. The elevator man's getting drunk between the floors at the Blue Hotel. At the Blue Hotel, I'll wear a boutonniere so you can recognize me, dear, when you meet me at the Blue Hotel. The upstairs maid's got something going on the side. The house dick, he's been known to take a bribe at the Blue Hotel. Bring along your aunt, meet me by the potted plant in the lobby of the Blue Hotel. When you step down and dine in our luxurious lounge, you'll get the finest meal that the house can scrounge. The chef is deaf, hear the waitress yell. In the kitchen of the Blue Hotel, the house band plays an anonymous bop. They play Savoy and the Bunny Hop. Busboys in the back room dancing with a mop. In the basement of the Blue Hotel, ring that bell if you want to call the clerk. Knock on the desk if the bell don't work at the Blue Hotel. We can stay there overnight, they are bound to treat us right. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. Now the desk clerk's name is Grit Pipe Thin, and he checks you out as he checks you in. He writes your name with a pen on a chain. As he does this thing, you check out the terrain. You see Slippery Sylvester and his sinister maul hanging out in the shadows that lurk in the hall. The eyeballs are moving in a portrait on the wall in the foyer, and way up in the corner by the dusty curtain lining, there's a fat black spider dining. Oh, the picture isn't nice. There are poker-playing mice behind the baseboards of the Blue Hotel. Ring that bell if you want to call the clerk. Knock on the desk if the bell don't work at the Blue Hotel. Or we will stay there overnight. They are bound to treat us right. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. When you step in off the street, you'll find the service so discreet. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. Don't steal the ashtrays. There you go. At the Blue Hotel. One last tune for you, then it's out of here with me. I'm not even just going to put up that thing and not have any background music for it. I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Well, whatever. Oh, decisions. It's so hard being me. No, it's actually, there's tough parts of being me, but the main part of being me is to be in this house of love with lovely friends everywhere I look. So that's the best part of being me. Time can go so slowly in a barroom late at night, where the people move like ghosts through the smoky candlelight, and the band is playing something that's got distance. Man, they're cool. In the shadows of the back room, some old boys are playing pool, and this blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. Now I get the funniest feeling, it must be deja vu. I'll tell you something, brother, just one time through will do. And it all comes back so clearly when I only stop to think. And on that note, I think I'll go and have myself another drink. And this blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. Well, there's a joke I'd like to tell you, but they say my timing's off. And before I hit the punchline, I always take a drag and cough. But that's just another nasty habit that I really ought to break. Oh, but if I don't, you know that won't be my first mistake. Well, it's getting close to closing time, and the bouncer starts to loom, and the manager's turning out all the lights around the room. And the chairs are on the table and the band is getting paid. And I leave here trying to hang on to those memories that they played. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. And this blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. And I think that's the appropriate place to finish up. And here's my Bandcamp promo. And during the course of studying it and enjoying what you see there, tells you about my albums. I'm going to play a cut that will be featured on Swimming in Falling Water. And I hope you enjoy it. And thanks so much for being here. Love you all so very, very much. Planet at the edge of time and space, a futuristic genius in his tower contemplates the mirrors of infinity, molecules and galaxies. He finds the farther out he looks, the deeper in he sees. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom. He polishes the lenses on his super microscope, turns down his eyes to gaze upon a subatomic mote. On a tiny planet there, underneath a golden sun, he sees a shining woman, and he knows he's not alone. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom. Underneath a dying star, the genius learns the weariness of eyes that see too far. He feels the pull of cosmic loss, distance he can never cross. Will he always feel as lonely as a brain inside a jar? The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom.